The time has come to conclude our work for today, and accordingly I invite Mr. Jean-Pierre Bourguignon and Mr. Viktor Nedovic to give us final words. Please, the floor is yours.
First of all, I want to thank the organizers of this meeting, so the ministry and also the university, for hospitality and great hospitality. I mean, being in this room was very much, but also all the people who went through the presentation, prepared the presentation and asked questions. The whole point was definitely to make the ERC better known, to have it better understood, and hopefully to get more people to apply, because definitely I think the present situation is that knowing the level of research, which is, or science or research, which is done in Serbia, I think the number of applicants doesn't reflect that. So I know for this, the right thing is for the scientists themselves to feel comfortable with the whole process, but also the institutions to be ready. And I know that some institutions in Serbia now have learned about this and are really determined to move forward with this. So I think I'm very grateful that there was this opportunity. And of course, as you've heard, one step, which is a very concrete step being taken, is the organization of this this possibility of visiting fellowship, which I think could actually prove very useful to get more people, in particular more young people, exposed to international competition, or not only this, but also other ways of doing things, and being personally confronted with ERC grantees who have been successful. You heard from the grantees. There are a number of Serbian grantees who are in Serbia, but also outside Serbia. And some of them clearly are really willing to share their experience and how much ERC helped them develop their project. I was very pleased to see that the people who presented the project were all women, which is something very important for us, that we want to be sure that women are properly represented among our laureates. In the last years, I think we reached 40% of successful starting grantees to be women, which I think is slightly above the percentage of women in the age group. So that's something we are very proud of, and I hope it continues. It's always something to watch. So just to conclude, I think I'm pretty sure that the proposal we received from the ministry concerning the visiting fellowship will be approved in Krakow, where we meet for a plenary meeting, the Scientific Council, in October. So there are still some few exchanges needed, but I think things should go through. So it means that the process should be available next year for sure. The other point also, which is very important, that anytime you see something which puzzles you or a question you have, you should feel free to contact the website is, from that point of view, I think reasonably well organized, where you can always ask questions. Now you have a very personal contact with two people, Elena Volpi, who is in charge of the working group on widening European participation. Andrei is the chair of this working group, but also Gordana Popovic, as you know, is working in the agency for many years. She's in the scientific department, and she's also coming to Serbia often, and I think known in Serbia also as somebody you can refer to. So I think all this to conclude, to say that I think for me this day was very successful. I could have very good exchanges with a number of people, but feel free to continue these exchanges and to take advantage of the fact that there are calls every year, so you can really always renew your attention. I must say the database contains a huge amount of information, so if you want to have an idea what kind of project we are supporting, just look at what is there and use some keywords and see what has been supported. There is a fantastic variety of projects supported, so it can give you also some feeling in your field or even outside your field what has been the project which have been successful. Unfortunately, we cannot say anything about the project which have not been successful by law. So this you will not find, I'm sorry to say. So the only way you can get it is by asking somebody who submitted a proposal and has not been successful. But clearly you heard that people learned from the projects, from the comments they got on their project, and could, thanks to these comments, change their strategy or change the content. My final word will be on a very explicit example of this. Somebody who, for example, was not accepted, went to the second stage, and when reading the comments realized that one of the objections to his proposal was definitely wrong. That is, the statement made by the referee was improper. But then the person looked back at what he had written, he was a man, and he realized that actually the interpretation that the referee gave and the reason why he was opposing was definitely an interpretation which was possible by what he had written, because he had written something ambiguous and the person chose the wrong side of the ambiguity, but the ambiguity, he was the one who brought it in. So in the sense, he could not object to the objection because definitely he himself had introduced the possibility of this objection. So of course he reapplied, corrected this because of course that was the lesson in his case. He didn't change his project, just made it clearer, and then he got the grant. So thank you very much for your support and for your interest. I hope in the future there will be more Serbian applicants to the program. Thank you.
First of all, I would like to once again thank Professor Bourguignon and his ERC team that was all together with us the whole day today discussing different issues, starting from the very global ones towards very specific ones. Then I would like to thank very much all our panelists during the panel session. Plus, I would like to thank very much also our ERC grantees, Magdalena, Jelena, Natasha, also to pass the regards from Sofia Stefanovic, who is not today in Belgrade, but she passed the message to Professor Bourguignon, but also to all of you. And to all of you that stayed the whole day with us, trying to find a way how to improve this very important situation related to future application for ERC grants, helping us as well as the ministry to better structure the activities, actions, measures in the future to find a way to be of support for your brilliant ideas. I would like to ask you to count of us in that sense and to mention at this very moment that today with us is also our ERC national contact point. This is Ms. Gordana Vlahovic from University of Novi Sad, who spent recently the whole year in US, trying to gain some other experience that will help in this respect as well. And together with Gordana Vlahovic, plus Nada Milošević, who is not today at the meeting, but she is also NCP, National Contact Point for, from one side, Maria Skladowska-Curie actions plus ERC, to be the first point for the future interest of all of you to us, and to try to articulate on the best possible way this interest and to see how, on which way, by which activities we could do more in that respect as a ministry, as a government. I think this day was quite useful for all of us, trying to touch upon many important points that were related, some of them to the some general points, but also to some related to the statistics, to the success rate, to the opportunities, to the possibilities. But also that this session in the afternoon, I think it was really very, very important, in which three ladies, very successful ones, tried to explain the way how to from the different perspectives, how to reach this momentum to prepare excellent application and to be accepted by the panel of, evaluated on the best possible way and accepted by the panel of ERC. And all of us could learn a lot from that. Also the experience of academician Zoran Petrovic, Professor Zoran Petrovic, is something that we can count on, not only his experience, but also we recently received from ERC the list of all our scientists that took part in the evaluation process in some previous calls, not ongoing ones, that we could use in our future activities as well. Thank you for that as well. And we would like also to structure together with them some future measures to try from that side also to see the situation and to improve it. By these words, I would like to thank all of you for your patience, for your questions, for your interest, to wish to all of you future success in this, but all other calls, national ones, international ones, ERC ones, and to see each other soon at similar events, similar occasion. Thank you very much.